Hello, everybody. Now, a few of you may remember Anya. We chatted I think about a year ago. And we chatted again, and we chatted again, and we chatted a few months ago again. But today, we want to speak about something a little bit different, or maybe not. Now, first of all, this episode may trigger a few people. So just know that it's maybe a sensitive subject. If you don't like it, switch off, okay? What I'm going to say is one of our big issues right now is human trafficking. And it's a horrible issue. And a lot of us don't understand it, and we hear it, but we cannot understand what it's like, or even the whole concept of it. It's scary, it's ugly, it's underground. But what if someone experiences and has come out and has become better for it and has grown and made a beautiful business and has just developed and is great? So on that note, this is Carina from Break Fear, Find Freedom. And of course, Anya Matrosova. Hello, Anya. How are you today?
I'm good. Hi, Carina. How are you?
I'm very good, Anya. And I'm really excited to do this podcast today. And thank you so much for being here, because this is a sensitive subject and it takes a lot of courage to speak about it. Because I'm sure there are a lot of people who experience it, but no one's got the courage to speak about it. So let me ask you the question. First of all, how are you now?
I'm okay. I'm still here. I'm still here. It was a long time ago, and there's some things coming up here and there because our past. It's some of it. If we don't deal with it, it's coming up. And
Yes.
comes up, but that's why the awareness and questioning and wanted to feel good and move forward. That's what make us meet, you and I, so you could help me out also to deal with it. I'm comfortable with what I am and with my past. And I've been hiding for years. I was so scared my friend's not going to be talking to me if they find out. And I know I do understand, all this, like all other women or men who've been abused, the shame that it's happened to them. I get that. I don't have that shame. It's not our fault, or it's just our choices. And, we got to forgive ourselves. Okay.
I love that attitude. But let's go a step back and tell us a bit about how did this happen? Where were you in your life and what happened?
Okay, so what happened? I was back home, which is in Belarus, Minsk. That's where I was born. And let's say, so it was right when Soviet Union collapsed. In 1996, I came across, so I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
I was 16 to 17. I just had my first boyfriend. Yeah, I was almost at 17. I had my first boyfriend. So 1997, to be exact. I just finished school and I thought, I'm going to go to school. I'll be, I wanted to learn something with skincare, the business, like the beauty, to be gorgeous all the time. Biology was taking all these classes. And then you get a new boyfriend, and then it didn't work out. I mean, it's just another subject. It's hurt me. And then at the time, my family, we were a mess. Every family has their own things. And my mom, she was in hospital. My father was a little bit too busy, drinking, although he was a good man, the best father. And my two brothers, they were like troublemakers. It's just a country that, we live in the country that just collapsed.
Yes,
Soviet.
it's hard. Yeah.
Like there's a movie called Лихие 90-е. It's like crazy 90s. It's documentary. If any of you, I highly recommend it to watch it. It's like you watch it and you think, oh my God, how did they survive this? Suddenly the country opened up, right? And all these crazy chewing gums, those movies coming up, some borders opens up, like all these things after communista days, they coming up, beauty, Miss Universe, Miss this, Miss, it just was crazy. And the country was changing. So I'm not gonna like I am saying, a lot of mafia. It was almost like, are we mafia or are we like government? Like
What's going on? Confusion.
but one big mess. So at this time, I guess I came across. So what happened to me? I got pregnant. Okay, and my mom was so sick, and I had my other issues. I didn't have my mother as my, or like, I was too embarrassed to tell her, and I didn't want to bother her, and I didn't have her as like, she's my family, it's my friend, to go and tell her. So of course, when we like this, we like tangled up even more into the trouble when we don't tell. So now trying to avoid to tell my family, but in order to go get plus we were very poor, like no money. Now I know what poor is. When I traveled, we were fine, we had a house to be like home and food, but anyway, so somebody suggested one of these girls, like, there's always somebody like, cooler, and then you understand why. They dress better, they're more confident, they already like had a few boyfriends, Sure, and then like you're scared. And if let's say, because of little bit mentality of people there, they're very real people back home, right? Like they sometimes, if you go to gynecologist alone, they're gonna call you slut or give you looks. So I wanted to avoid that, and I would like, just to avoid that shame. I knew I need like $50. Okay, it's a lot of money. $50 to pay to doctors and go quietly, do the abortion. I didn't want to create give a birth to a baby into this world. That was my thing.
Yeah.
So somebody suggested, you can do this thing for 1 or 2 times and you have your $50. Of course, I jump on it, right? Because my mother's sick in hospital, and at the same time, good, I'm in and out. So now it, of course, wasn't the case. I agreed. It's like tourists come into the city, and you go, you meet, and it's. So I did it, and as you know it now, it wasn't enough for the people because I'm tall and
Blonde.
and I'm afraid that my parents gonna find out. It's like a party who wants to lock you in. So after I did my abortion, like I had money, I did my abortion and everything. Of course, these people, they approaching me, and I was also crazy case, and so I end up. So I'm like, fast forward, we were locked in for a little bit, and there was other girls in apartment, and I gotta say, like there is like some officials of the police, they would come and they take the services. They know we don't like, and some girls, they like 14, 20, 12 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think about it, it's like, what? So that's why when the actual shit show happened, that wasn't even bad. I'm sorry for my language. So because who am I gonna go to? It's the same people.
Yeah, there's no one to protect you. There's no one to support you, and the whole world's gone crazy because of all this new stuff coming in that you didn't know anything about.
So what happened? I was like, yeah, we gotta get out of here. So one day everybody got drunk, and our like pimps, which were two older women, like older. They were close to their 30s. They pass out, and I said, "We're taking the keys and we getting out." So I held them. We all like run off, so a few days later, they found me. They found me through the girls who actually I helped to run off. Well, they're young, they're scared. Of course, they all told about me. And I got crazy beat up, and, you know, like my head was shaved, you know, like I barely like stayed there. Like it wasn't nice. And yeah, so after this shock, I was, you know, tied for a couple of days, and one day they went in the morning. They drink a lot, and like they rape you, like, you know, their friends. Not a pleasant scene.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I was like, I gotta get through this, and the whole time it's like your survival mode, all right? So
Yeah.
I run away. I run away. I had a little window, and I ran away. Of course, I'm not going home. I'm so scared, and they're looking for me. And yeah, somehow, okay, I lived on the streets. I lived on the stairs, and I would sometimes go. And I found this place where it was alcoholics' house, and I just took a room from them, and I just hide there. So
Mm-hmm.
in there, I would go to, you know, those payphones, and I just listen my mom's voice and my father's voice, but I'm scared to go home. And one of the person, a nice decent man, he sees that I'm scared, and I was wearing a wig, and like I'm like, you know, nice girl, something is off. So he asked me for a phone card, you know, to use that. So I gave, that was his ticket to get me, and so I just want my phone card and get out of there. So he's like, as he given me back my phone card, thank you. Now I have to take you for like a beer or something. Like there's a Russian drink, kvass, which is very tasty, but not non-alcoholic. It's very popular in summer. And you know what? Because I'm unanchored. I have nowhere to go. I'm afraid to tell anybody. All my friends, they turn their back on, you know, I'm scared, and they scared. Even my boyfriend, he testified against me. That's how scared everybody.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
Right. So I just sit down with this man, and I can see that it's my, like, through the, you know, it's my, and he's like, okay, tell me what happened to you. He just sees, like, I guess when you're 17 and somebody in their 40s, they can't see, right? Something is off. So I told him the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, he's like, okay, you pack your things and you're going to stay at my place. And I did. And I knew he's preparing me for something. Like, you know, I had, like, he would leave me in an apartment alone. And I already started thinking, like, he cares enough about me, you know, like a nice man. But of course, he's having sex with me and all this stuff. And I'm, like, just thankful, like, you know. Anyway, what happened is, after some time, I said, what's happening? What are you preparing me for? He's like, I'm getting ready your papers so you can go. I'm not going to say the country where, and you can have, you know, martinis for New Year's Eve right now, like be in a warm place, and you're going to be working, doing that. And of course, like, you know, I'm like, so I left, but he didn't hold me. So I left. At the same time, I found out my father had a heart. I'm close with my father, and he, I guess, you know, papa and daughter, you know. So it's really. So I heard that he had a heart attack or something, like failure. That's when my started. I don't know, thing. So I came back home. I said, screw it, I'm going to go home. I called, I'm like, Mom. She's like, daughter, come home, baby. She was so cool. That's when I understood my mother. She's a powerhouse and my family. So I came home, and she saw all my bruises, all my, like, you know, I had so much love from the whole, like, you know, family and my father. It was good. But what happened is, because the same people that wouldn't, you know, like, the representatives who were supposed to take care of it, they start tapping in the doors. So it was impossible to live like this. Okay, because they would just lock me in and to serve those guys, like the cool guys in jails. It was a thing, you know. It's a lot of money to bring a girl to, you know.
Yeah.
So, or I would like beat up. Like it's like never a good. So now I'm nobody and everything. So my mom, she's like, believe her, we can prove it. It's gonna be okay. So she takes me into all these, you know, doctors. We take all these, you know, like things that I've been beat up and all because I had a lot of like bruises and all that. I can only imagine how it's painful for my parents to see. Then she started writing letters to president, to officials, and everybody just, and the letters coming back. They all coming back to. They all say, "Oh, you have to go to this department, police department. That's the department where." That's so.
Wow.
Look, I end up calling this guy, and I said, "You know what? Get me out of here." I've been out of country for a few years. And I just, you know, took the poison, better poison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Years we were in a basement, but it was, you know, livable conditions and all. It's just a mental, you know, like it's your new reality. It's messed up, but you know, like I knew I'm gonna be like, and then yeah. So further, of course, like when it's all past, I'm not gonna like go through my history and everything.
No, of course not.
Like for everybody, like what? It's all good, but later on, you know, all these things that you hold in my 20s, I got married and to a normal person. But what do I realize? Funny enough, I don't know what's normal. So all this.
It's not.
So, and that's, you know, it's very painful. I lived through this like for almost until my 40s, until I met you. That I was tired to feel in a certain way and like create those loops in my head. You know, like it just, there's a lot of things was coming out. So, yeah. So, yeah.
So, that's quite a story, Anya. And to think that you've survived this long, but then you'll understand why you suffered all those panic attacks for such a long time, because of the horror that you went through, and you've survived it, and you've come out like smelling great, you know, like beautiful, and you've come out of it, and that is amazing on its own, because a lot of people. I mean, how many people would survive that? How many people would it would be easier to just start drinking or taking drugs or whatever it is to just get away from those horrors. So what did you do? How did you not go down that path, down the path of addiction, which would have been so easy?
Carina, I did went that path just a little bit later when I couldn't deal with normal life. I just don't know.
You don't know it, yes.
I've tried it all. I'm the pain, you know, until you like literally like face it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's for everything. Your other self, like your young, but that's later. While it was happening, I completely didn't drink. I didn't drink for a few years. All this. But like, and you mentioned who would survive that. Some other girls did because it was like a few places, and it was about 25 girls in each.
Mm-hmm.
Our bosses, right? And it was like filled. But I mean, the place I went. So a lot of like, you know, these women was there, but a lot of them, like I would say, like I would come out between clients in a room and I see somebody like this. Like the clients would bring their drugs, you know, and girls would take it, MDMA, right? Ecstasies, they sniffing something. There so many.
Yeah.
people was just escaping or drinking. I just made a choice. And I tell you what, you asked me actually how I survived, how I kept I just was going through. I knew it's going to end one day and I have to come out of it like a strong. I have to go see my mother because she's sick. And while I was there, I was still making money, right? And so I was sending to her while she was in a hospital. Had a decent, but at first it wasn't easy, and I was they were because I wasn't very like you excited to be there, So I said, yeah, I'll get through this. I'll become fast, and it was so you don't speak the language, and you're 17, and you just like your hair like little groove, all this stuff, and it just like I put myself in this situation. But I just put my big girl's pants on and I said, you got this, and you will help yourself, you will help your mother, you'll buy some time while the mess is going on in my country, because nobody gonna help me now, nobody.
Yeah.
I pray every single day to the God, every single day, asking Him to make me strong and make me. And I was apologizing because I wasn't busy, but I had to pay because every day you're not making minimum, and it's lots. Like I'm not even gonna say out loud how much. If you don't pay minimum, you go into the red, like a minus red. So and the next day it's gonna be double, right? So you have to. So I'm like, shh. And yeah, I just pray to the God, like keep me strong. Please. This is literally like a child. I was because it's the only language I knew, like a God at the time. Now I believe like there's energy in this, but it's all similar between us, different backgrounds and nationalities. It's all something. It's all something that unite us. Actually, I believe. So I did pray to the God every single day. I did every single day. And my biggest thing was it's to like how I'm funny and I have charisma. I wanted to keep my good heart, baby, in a way. And when I walked inside there first day, when they brought me into the place, into this kind of basement looking, there's like this like row of these gorgeous, beautiful girls, and they are like sad, but they like me. It's like you know how it is. Oh, a new one. Oh, she's gonna be the. And they saying stuff that not nice. Like that, the things that I'm gonna do too was fine. Oh, this one she's gonna be like, oh, nah, she's this. The many. And when I saw this, I was scared to become like this more than in the situation that I was more. That was my biggest fear. I prayed not to become like this, and I didn't. Over time, in a way, changed the rules over there. Usually, because it's you helping, and nobody, over time, after 1 year, nobody put each other down anymore. Actually, everybody was just like, So I think, yeah.
That was great. It just shows you how strong you are, and it's you had such a beautiful attitude, even in that terrible situation. Okay, I have to ask you, how did you get out?
I paid off in full. I paid off, like my time was up, and I paid off, and I could use the papers to come back. Paid off, yeah.
Wow, yeah. That's sure such a story, and how did you start a new life?
Well, when I already was in Canada, how did I start new life? Okay, so I came to Canada here as a refugee because, like, when I came home, it was the same. But then by then I was like, I traveled a little bit in different countries because I had other friends I made over there. We kind of pull each other, and I bring my people with me like this.
Yes, yes, yes.
Friends that she would finish with her boss, and another friend that we all waited for each other. And when we just was traveling together around, and I was like unanchored because I came home and like my brother was like not doing good for family. And I just came back to something not so good, like in family. Um, I I just heard that Canada can help me, and I'm like, I'm gonna fight for my name. So I came to Canada, uh, and it was a struggle a little bit. I'm not even gonna go through this. First few years, I asked for refugee status, and Canada gave me home. It was very difficult back in the days. They wouldn't give you a work permit for refugees. It just doesn't make sense. Of course, everybody gonna go work for cash. So I was cleaning houses, trying to figure out, meet my aunts, no English, no nothing. But I strongly believed I can do this, and I met my ex-husband maybe a year later or 2 years later, but also another things start coming out, So I was married for about 7 years, and after first year, because my journey didn't end there, right? Now all the poo coming out.
Yes, yes, of course.
Yes,
Yes.
he triggered something. He triggered something, and it made me not respect him anymore. So I couldn't love him anymore after I didn't respect him.
Of course not. Of course not.
I not chat because also he was helping me with papers to stay and all that. But at the same time, it was so painful. Like it's like couldn't see him. So I became that nasty person over time. A lot of stuff was coming out, and we just years after years were dragging out, and I just wanted to like make his life miserable, although he wasn't that bad. I mean, he did. It's not cool. It's but it was like. Anyways, it's okay. This may be in other podcasts. It's a long story. I have like a journey because I was in my 20s. Now, when I was 29, I completely already split up because I became not a very nice person. I was cheating and I was drinking and I was doing drugs, and it's just and I didn't come home for this, and just so I left. Because like at this time I had a boyfriend, I had a lover, and it's just like, and I don't want neither one of them. I just wanted to, and we lived good life. Like we were okay. Like I helped my husband build up his business. Like he had a okay. But I left and I just rented apartment, and I start from like minus. I start from minus, and I said I will not go the old road because I knew how to get back into it. You always know where you always, and it was very hard. It's like an addiction because I need to like. Why should I work for $20, $8 minimum wage versus 200 an hour? So it was very hard not to, but it was all right. It was very hard. Apparently, you can actually figure out $20 a week. You actually can. We can live for this. So, anyways, I had a car accident right before that, before I left my ex-husband, and they paid me a little bit money, which I used towards my makeup artist school and my aesthetic school. But when I came to Canada, I also took a full aesthetic private classes. So I always was educating myself.
Good.
And like I always was into health and beauty and all that stuff. It's like while I was destroying myself with alcohol, I knew how to like undo all of this when I was They're like, wow, you look so. So I needed to stimulation that, to bring that my stimulation, like love towards like beauty and youth and all that. So I started going to the school, and and then the next, so I started working for somebody when I was in school, and I actually became the best employee over there.
Yes.
By then already, maybe age, I don't know, 33 maybe. I already was, no, not maybe 32. I already opened my business while I was working from spa, and I was working at home after I finished spa. But like I didn't even steal clients from there. I was just building up my own. I never been clients, like from place. So anyways, so I built up enough, and then I had opportunity to rent a space. Maybe 3 years later, no, not three, maybe a year later, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I was working for the spa at my home and from this other place where I rented, and it slowly, that was my ticket. And then I gained the strength, and then I incorporated over time, and So today I am a skincare specialist, and I also teach face yoga fitness. How to actually maintain all these results, and nutritionist, and like I'm everything you can think of. I had to, and all these, natural ways, and I love the combine of the, cosmetology and surgical world with the old school way, herbalist, and
Yes.
and at the same time to put all together, like how physiologically beautifully grow and go forward. And I try to help women and men. Actually, I have a lot of men actually reaching out, how to I want to change that word aging, that fear around aging.
Yes.
Then I'm like, I want to get to where you are. Because people, they think it's a shame. I'm old, you young. So
No.
I hope to get where you're at. A lot of people never even make it past 40s. So that's it. That's my thing. But yeah.
So I have to ask you one more question, and then we'll talk. Tell me, but how did you get out of the drugs and alcohol? Because that is really difficult to do on your own. What did you do, and what triggered that change? What made you decide one day, this is enough, I don't want this anymore?
Okay, so I don't want this. Well, you're tired to feel the same way. So my lover, he was okay, well off at the time, and he was also so he would bring me cocaine, and I would say, don't bring it. If I see it, I will do it. And it was once a week at first, and again, he's older, I'm younger, and I bring young girls. He like VIPs and nice restaurants, like boobs out, we're going out, I'm like, what do you call that? Like a nice for nice suit, nice brush, like nice.
Yes.
Like uh So I saw that he was a poison, that he would help me with this, that I actually, like, nothing really changed in a way. I sold myself for like pair of pants and, like some clothes and some like fancy things, everything is in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
I come to realization when I got sobered up, I left my ex-husband and I was living in my apartment, my rental place. I just happened that I met my dear friend, who's still my friend. I really like wanted to become part of his friends, and like it's like normal people up. And I saw that he was normal, not judgmental, and of course he was a man. He fell for all my cuteness and everything, but then over time, like he understood how messed up I was later.
Yeah.
I chose to tell him the whole truth, my thoughts, and who I am. but like at the same time, I kind of lost my chance to be in a relationship with him, because for normal men it's hard to handle what I was telling him. Okay, so and he actually, his heart is so good that he just chose to be my friend, and we've been like I like we're family. He even went back. He knows family, my parents and my. I know his parents. I look after them. So I really wanted to, like, he made me wanted to be better. Okay, but like I grab on something that whatever would work, because I didn't love myself enough, even
Yes.
like probably 39, to be good for me, for myself, and maybe 38, I would say 38,
Yes. Yes.
2018.
Mm.
Yeah, because that's when I saw like started for me, and then 2019 I met you, I think 2019 or 2020.
Mm.
So what made me stop? It was gradually, because my friend, I hang out with him a lot. He still, of course, liked me and everything, but that surrounding, and I wanted to prove it to him. He had a business for a long time. He's still my business advisor, and he shared his friends with me, who are amazing, wonderful people, and then everybody just like giving me ideas, and I just learned different ways that you don't like. I didn't feel bad about myself, and I didn't feel the pain around certain environment. That's where you understand. You create your environment, and you don't feel like you need to escape from it by drinking or taking the drugs. So that was very powerful.
Wow, that was beautiful. So he's really an angel who came into your life at the right moment.
I'm telling you, I did pray for that too. Like I was asking from God, like send me. Like I know I don't love myself enough to do that. Now to be strong enough to do these steps towards my better self. But I guess I did, even if I was asked. But I would do it when I like somebody. I know myself. I'm like about other people, right? And it did help. I wanted to prove him that I can do it myself. You don't need to pay for my dinners. Like I really, literally retrained myself, because I was one of these women that, I mean, it was my job, right?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And all that. And I had to retrain my brain that I don't need somebody to pay for my lunches, dinners. It was so easy. And it's the hardest thing I ever done to train myself. But yeah, I did. I just wanted to be better. I just believe that anything is possible.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like when you look back, it's like, wow, it's so fast past all these years. Now I'm 42 almost. But if I was looking forward, it's like, oh my God, it's never happening. It's never enough. Da, da, da. Then one day I understood it was enough every single time.
Wow, I love that. And now you're in a normal relationship?
Yes.
Well, so-called normal. I mean, normal.
Yes.
Normal relative to everybody, but I mean a normal relationship for you.
It's a young relationship. It's a young relationship. We in like 7 months together.
Wow.
Yeah, we just talked about moving in together. So nice.
Nice, nice.
Like
And you're okay with it? You're ready for that?
yeah, I know you're laughing because only 7 months ago I reached out to you, Carina. I'm breaking up. Yeah, because that's my loop, right? That's
Right.
that's why, as I'm saying, like I was like those are things that coming up from before. I need to sabotage it before I get hurt, and like I don't have to like it's not even I'm afraid to be hurt. It's just what we do. So
Yes, of course. You have to protect yourself and you don't want to repeat the same patterns.
I just don't know. You just like I want to learn that lesson and move to the next one.
Yes, of course.
Upgrade you understand your patterns, right? So that's when I reach out to you, and yeah, it's now everything feels like it's long, but everything feels like everything what I've been through, and this my other significant. It's like I always knew it takes specific kind of person and human a man to love me for what I am and still adorable and just because I can be like different in a different way, a woman and vulnerable with him, which I never really could. I like with anybody. My ex-husband was a baby like this, like, and yeah. So like everything I went through, almost I can say for exactly what I am. Like I can accept his past, right? Because we all not just wrapped up gifts, perfect coming up, especially
We've all got, yes.
and it's fine. It's like we both like messed up, but it's like we're perfect puzzles for each other in a way. So good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's almost like everything I went through. It was like preparation. I was preparing myself for this specific person, and he did everything in order to be ready for me. I don't know. Does it make sense?
It does. It does. It's beautiful, actually, how eventually when you're meant to, I mean, I'm like such a romantic, right? Eventually when you're supposed to meet together, you'll come together. And when the time is right. So you might have met before, but it wasn't right. And it wasn't right with your friend, your best friend either, because it didn't fit. You were meant to meet him, right? It's beautiful. It's like such a beautiful picture if you think about it, a beautiful dance.
Yeah. It's nice. And then the whole time, all these years in my 30s, I thought, no, I want this person. I want this person, that my friend. But now I understand, like he meant to be my friend and family, and he also has his things,
Mm-hmm.
So attached to that idea that finally, when I just let go of this idea, I let myself to be loved for the way I like it, actually. Because I was waiting from that other person to love me the way I need it when they don't have it.
They can't.
Yeah, no, they can't. They love it. They like there's a lot of love, but it's just different.
Mm.
And now I have best of the worlds. Everybody, it was the way they don't love me, and I love everybody. Yeah, so
I love it. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's so funny how we have a story, we think in our heads where we want it that way and we want that person.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like your friend, he wasn't ready and he wasn't the right person for you.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to say, okay, all right, I trust, I have faith. Let's just leave it. Let's let it go and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I commend you for that. That was very brave of you as well, especially coming from your background when this was the first time you met someone that was like normal, right? So you would wanted to hang on to him.
Well, he was selfless. That's probably the proper word. And like selfless, who would wanna just without gaining anything, giving you advices, like walk you through. So that's an amazing group of people you can find. Like there's not like I consider myself super lucky.
Yes, yes.
And I this is how I behave. And I just like as we said it, right, like as I said it, I just understand this more and more. It's just nice. Like
Yes, nice.
love him even more, that friend, and makes me love my boyfriend now even more, it's just different, That's good.
And it's so beautiful, Anya, that after all that, a lot of people would have got resentful and angry and bitter. And you like full of love and beautiful and open. So even that is a beautiful thing because you've beat the odds, right? And you've lived your life and you've taken the blessings out of it, and now you're ready to just live the most magnificent life.
And I do feel like I give myself like big credit, like and like when I see some people, some women, like they down or this, they always come up with some like they like, oh, I'm too embarrassed to talk about it. And I'm like, Brennan, like there's not much I haven't been through. Like I cheated, I did this, like these things. Which one is that?
That's right. So you can help them all, right? You've got an idea for each one, I'm sure.
And like like this one client, she's like, oh, immigration is like And then I said, okay, look at me. Like she couldn't get her papers. I said, look at me. When I came to get my passport, instead they took me to jail. Okay, immigration. I said, look at me. I'm here because you're doing everything right. And if you're doing everything right, and you genuine, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, we all have our path, and like I had some confusion from back home. That was my story, but eventually I'm okay anyways because I'm a good citizen. I did everything what I had to do, and I show up for my government who gave me home, who took care of me. I knew it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
And just a little example, or this and that. Should I do this? I'm like, and the first relationship, then go into next relationship, because who you have to live with after you're gonna do something that when it feels wrong. By the way, it's probably wrong.
Yes, of course.
Nice to have this little example. Sometimes I just look, and I see. Okay, just tell me. If they're ready, if it's sometimes you can just tell me.
Yeah, when they're ready, yes.
Yeah, small things I'm such and such, and I don't even want to you're gonna be fine. I just say my part of story, and I'm like, look at me today, and I don't have to say it anything. And they're like, Anya, I always come to you. I feel like a brand new person.
I love it, Anya.
And I just, it's like, and they're like, facial, it's psychological. I don't even need it. You save me so much money. And then I run to you to get help.
That's perfect. It all works out perfectly, you see.
I'll have an hour because I probably you and I have a lot of people I know who are selfless. They get lost in it, and they don't deal with their own things because not because they're too busy to help others. They choose to be too busy to help others, so they don't have to deal with their own inner self. Yeah. So this I mean, I wish I could. I don't even wish I could figure out all. I know there's lots to deal with. There's things coming up, but because it's nice to overcome something, let's say shame of what happened to me.
Yeah.
Shame because of all these layers of thoughts, and then and then you overcome this, and then you enjoy that state, make it strong, and then something gonna come up, and that's okay. That's my. It's it feels like down, but it's actually your opportunity to for the breakthrough, for next breakthrough. I think that's what it is, right? So, and just use that as when it's bad, it's yes, it's gonna be good.
Because then it's good because hey, now there's big, better stuff that's going to be out. As soon as I've worked this out, then it's out there. So let's just go through it. Yes.
Absolutely. I think it's important. I mean, we all locked up, and the more you help, sometimes people just feels pull you apart. You're oh, I don't want to sit on the phone. I don't want to be on the Zoom. Right? You need to reconnect with yourself because the more you help, it's the more people get inspired, right?
Yes, and they all want a piece of you, so you have to take that time out for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's a nice feeling to be burned out doing what you love. Nice feeling, because it's like energy. It's like a ball. It's just it's just our physical body. Hey, hon, you gotta lie down.
Yes, you'll have to rest for a bit. Sorry. Otherwise, you'll start getting flu or like, Anya, oh, I'm sick. Of course, you're sick because you burnt out, you've worked too hard and you haven't rested. So your body makes you rest, right?
Yeah, and
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
I do believe in like we make ourselves sick. I do
Yeah,
believe.
of course, of course.
I love how our teacher Mark he's saying, "I get my answers anywhere I can." So there is no like right or wrong answer, but like going through all these things, today a spiritual world helps me. Tomorrow, logical thoughts help me. After tomorrow, somebody like I don't even like or they don't like me, just
Yes, yes, yes.
like you have this aha moment, like anywhere. But as long as you, I think, are like focused on, to make it better, like you have agenda. What am I doing here? Sometimes, I believe, like, why we're here? Why did I go through this, all of this, just to, have a happy life? Like, if that's it is, and you feel good, that's fine. But like, I sit on all this information and just not help others. Like, it just, I feel like some of my friends who went through this, like, they are like, we're like invisible families, around the world. We always in connect. They're just happy with the kids and everything, and they're good,
Mm.
Others, empowering others.
But that's what it is. Everybody lives their lives the way they want to. And some of us just need to empower others and help others and just lift everybody up. That's just the way we made, I suppose. So that's also another reason we connected so long. Well, what's it, 2 years ago already? And that's beautiful as well. I love it. I love the way, and also the way things connect. And there's no coincidence. They all connect together in this beautiful pattern of life.
Every single choice and action we take, it leads you to, like, if you're looking backwards, like 100 actions before, it's like, oh, okay, that was the pattern. So I did align my intentions and like my feelings, and it's right. And some of them, we make it, it's like you understand, oh, what went wrong. I didn't have the right intentions. Okay. Yeah, but picture, when you see, yeah, I do see myself. I just see myself, yeah, and like sometimes I like to, like how we do in our sessions, visualize. It's nice. It's nice. Some nice stuff I can see, and I'm like, how far is this from? I looked pretty young there, so it's probably not too far. In my
Awesome. So what's now for Anya?
but what's now?
Yeah.
I'm working on my so now I'm using kind of everybody worried about recession, right? Which we're already in a long time ago. It's just everybody like, hey, like pushing away this time.
Yeah.
You in that long time ago, as all of us. But I'm using this as like sometimes a little bit of fear, proper healthy fear. It gets you to do some good stuff. So in terms of like my business, I'm adjusting and I'm working on my branding. So I'm able to help more or even the same people who are my clients. And like I have to provide. And yeah, I'm working on my skincare right now. And I finally, able to, while recession happened, I like my clients can afford. I'm not raising prices like others. My clients able to see me because, yeah, right. So I'm just trying to figure out like how to do the proper branding, and that's my major focus. And guess who's helping me with all the letters and my English and spelling? It's my boyfriend.
Works out perfectly, right?
Like good jobs. And while he's like sitting at home, I'm like, listen, I'm paying a lot of money for it. Like it's perfect,
Right.
That's paid. Yeah. So now I am between transitions, like with my relationships. my branding, and at the same time, it allows me to express who I am. And there's a lot of different fun things. So I can grab my book, my life story. I think my boyfriend gonna also have to go through this mess over there and like put it together nicely so people can actually read, like understand what it says. Yeah. So yeah, that's right now. That's it. Like I don't look further than 3 months now, but I know what's in the next year happening. Yeah. And that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. So we're trying out for 2-3 months, moving in together, and with your help, I stopped breaking up with him. So
it was pretty cool. We won that one.
yeah, but, right when we were, and you probably read in my post. Yeah, I would never even like. It's because of you those things came up. Like I remember that story that you read because of you, because of the session we went with you. And
That's
it's
what happens with this work.
yeah, a calm moment, and it's so nice. Yeah, it's so nice when your other significant understand this, and it's like, okay, they don't make it about themselves. It's like so healthy, like not to communicate through 1,000 layers.
Yes.
Do that.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful that you got to that point, because initially it was hard. Yeah. But you had to go through those layers, and you had to get to the point where you could say, okay, this is it. So I love that. So are you going to be cool to live together?
Yeah, we're trying in December.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. That's huge step. That's a huge step.
It's a huge step. It is a huge step, but like it just feels normal. I just feel all these, that like you teach me that they serve me, but now they don't. It just and I can see. Okay, I don't know. Of course, I have my questions. Sometimes it's like, now I'm experiencing something to be in a relationship besides just being in a relationship with myself. And proud of myself in many ways. So much that through this love, I even teaching him a lot. Quite interesting. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be reaching out soon for you again. Because
start moving in, because then there's a different dynamic then, because then you're moving in together.
Yeah, we're becoming more bigger than ourselves, right? It's pretty nice.
It's beautiful, because you independent, you've got your job, you've got your business, he's got his thing, and then you come together. It's beautiful. That's the way you want. And you're growing, and you've grown. I mean, you've since we first met, when you cried, when you called me 6 months ago, you've come so far.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to see.
Thank you.
Wow. So have you found freedom, Anya? I think I've asked you this question before, but in this context, have you found your freedom?
Yes. You always ask me this question, and I think freedom through, I found my freedom of fear, breaking fear of, actually allowing myself to be loved.
Yes, that's big.
Allow myself to be loved. I that's my fear. I think a lot of people they want it. We all want to be loved, but we kind of loved. It's a weird thing to think about, but like we're almost afraid. Like how am I gonna accept it all?
Yes, because it is, especially if that love, it's like bigger than you. How can you accept this? It's true.
Yeah. So that's
So you put in the blocks.
I'm doing baby steps. I'm a baby at this, but I can see myself as this like baby, and it's all this love. Like, what are you? This is me. So now that fear, like fear and love, I heard it's like the same. So like now this energy turned into this. So that's why more and more I understand we need certain like fear to understand that it's not.
Yes, yes, that's
I
true.
figured it out. Or like, what's you doing here? Yeah.
I love that. I love that, Anya. Wow, this was such a beautiful session. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and for telling your story. It was a hard one, but it was a good one because I think a lot of people can learn a lot from it. So I thank you for that.
So listen, you make people feel comfortable, and I hope even through this story, a lot of people gonna listen to this, and they're gonna be knocking on your doors more. I mean, I know you swapped with work already, but yeah, you can help more. Like so a lot of people can see and listen and like, oh, nothing.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with me, Carina.
Well, thank you, Anya. On that note, thank you, everybody. This was awesome. Thank you so much, Anya. I always love speaking to you. You know, we can just talk and talk and talk for so long. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for, like I said, your honesty and your vulnerability and your love. And we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye. See you next week. Bye.